We have a great show lined up for you tonight. How y'all feeling? I am feeling good. I hope that you all are well. Listen, guys, we're going to get right into it because you know what? Listen, these internet streets have so much ish going on. Let's just jump right into it. Now, listen, you all, let me ask you this. For those of you all that have adult children, should you charge your adult child rent? You heard me. Are you all charging your children? Listen, you've done all you can for them. You've raised them. You've put them through high school, grammar school, college, and all these other things. You've just done everything for them. Now you sit back and you say, you know what? Oh, child, I'm so glad. Listen, they have left my house. I don't have anything else to do. And then they come back. Do you charge them rent? Let's say, listen, something happened. They lost their job, especially, listen, with this day and age, and it's so much stuff going on in society. Listen, wars, rumors of wars, companies downsizing, just all kinds of ish. They got to come back. Do you charge your adult children rent? Let's say they never left the house, because we have this a lot going on. Let's say they haven't left the house yet. They graduated from high school. Oh, they 17, 18. Oh, baby, once you turn 18, and some communities, I'm going to talk about the Black community, once you turn 18, baby, they say you grown. And when you grown, they say you got your own. So are you charging your adult children rent? They haven't even went anywhere. Listen, they're there just graduating out of high school. Are you charging rent? Thank you so much. How you doing, beautiful? Are you charging rent to your adult children? Do you charge them rent? And here's the thing. It's a touchy subject sometimes, because I know a lot of times when you're dealing with lower income houses and lower income communities, like, man, like that extra rent, that extra money, one less mouth to take care of. Listen, everything can be real. So, if it's needed, I'm not going to say, you know what, don't charge it, because you know what, I don't know what's going on in your house. But I think that when you making a decision to charge your young adult children rent, to me, it depends on what is your financial situation at that time. Like, what's going on with your family? This kid just graduated from high school. Are they really in position to pay you rent? And I know a lot of times we look at it like, you know what, listen, I'm just teaching them responsibility, because when they get out in the real world, they're going to have to pay rent. They're going to have to pay bills. They're going to have to do all of this. That is true. However, teach them that. Don't go have them, if your rent $1,500, they gotta charge, you charging them $750, you charging them most of their little check. So how are they ever gonna get out and get ahead if you're charging them all of, half of your rent? I believe that as a parent, it's our responsibility to take care of our children. And 18, to me, that's not an adult. Like, it still says teen, 18, like they should be preparing to go to college and things of that nature. But to slap a huge responsibility like that, like paying half of the parents' rent, I think that's a little excessive. If you're going to charge them a couple of dollars to teach them, again, getting them ready for the real world, then that's fine. But again, I can't say you shouldn't be charging them for rent, because listen, everybody's financial situation is different. So everybody cannot afford to say, you know what, listen, I'm not going to charge my adult child rent. I'm going to let them, do what they need to do to get themselves together. Everybody is not in financial position to make that type of decision. So I think that should parents charge their adult children rent? I really do think that that is a case by case, a household by household situation because, again, everybody's financial bracket is different. Everybody, that income looks different for everybody. So if you can't afford to have another adult, again, which I don't think 18 is an adult, but you can't afford to have another adult in the house and they're not contributing, the more hands on deck, the better. However, taking half or most of their income, and chances are they're only working part-time or they just now getting out into the work field, that part has never sat right with me because I look and some parents would say, that makes them, that makes them responsible and this and that. Well, I've seen it, backfire more than likely. I've seen where that part hasn't really worked out because, taking all they got. And I mean, maybe you looking at it like, you know what, listen, when they get out here in the real world, they gonna take half of what they got. The real world, the landlord ain't gonna care that most of most of their money is coming to them. The landlord not gonna care about that. So I gotta teach them some responsibility. And I mean, I get it if you're looking at it like that, but half the check, that's kind of excessive. Charging them rent, like why don't we teach them to save, like teach them to be self-sufficient so when they do leave home, they ready, like they don't have to come back home. Teach them how to stand on their own. When these adult children, when they leave the house, it's some things, listen, that they need to know that maybe a lot of us wasn't taught growing up. We had to get out here and figure it out. And I'm not saying it's anything wrong for having to get out here and figure it out because it's a lot of stuff that's in this generation, my generation, that we're being exposed to that my dinner wasn't exposed to. Like they didn't all this credit and credit cards and builder. They didn't have all that. They didn't have all that. So, but they did know how to save. They did know how to run a household and how to pay the bills and how to do this and how to do that. It's so many skills that they did have. So what they did have, they gave to us. And so now what we have, we should be giving it to the next generation. But charging that rent, again, just, in my opinion, that should be according to, whatever your financial household, budget looks like. If you can afford not to charge the young adult rent and teach them how to get out there and get it and be self-sufficient when they leave, it's a few things that they need to know how to do. They need to know how to take care of business for themselves. They need to know how to talk to people and how to get things done. Example, listen, they got to get their lights, gas, all this other stuff turned on. Don't just throw them out there and expect them to know how to do everything because they don't. So we have to teach them. Walk through the process with them. Walk through the process of helping them call the utility company and helping them to get everything set up and making sure that everything is lined up so that they don't have any problems. They should know how to balance a checkbook or balance their accounts, should know how to do that, before leaving your house. They should know how to do that. They should know how to pay bills. So going out and paying rent, paying you rent, you may say, okay, well, that's teaching them how to pay bills. Well, you can always transfer a smaller bill to them. Example, if they have a cell phone. Okay, so now you're 18. Now you have to start being more responsible. So now you're going to start paying for your own cell phone bill. Or now you're going to start buying your own clothes and the things that you want to wear. Now that's how you teach them also responsibility, in lieu of charging rent. But again, it definitely depends on what the financial situation at home is looking like, because again, everybody is not in position to say, yo, well, you don't have to pay me rent, you could just go ahead, you could just pay your cell phone and you could just do this. A lot of people are not in position for that to be the case. But if at all possible, let's kind of start small. Don't go, for the axe, because again, when they get out on their own, if they've paid you half, they're paying half of your rent, then really, what are they saving? Have they even saved anything when they get out? Like, so now they're living on their own. Have they saved up enough money to even support themselves? Do they have enough money for a rainy day? Or has that all gone to pay half of your bills and half of your expenses and half of that? Again, I've always been I'm not going to lie, I've always been like on the fence of that whole charging rent thing. Now, let's say that's for the young adults, the 18 through the 21s. Let's say you got somebody, these good and grown folks, they got to come back. Let's say somebody done went through a divorce. Your child done went through a divorce, lost everything, and they got to come back home, come back to your house. Do you charge them rent? For me, again, you've lost everything. So am I charging you rent? Probably not. And here's why I'm not big on charging people stuff. People, when they want to come and stay, and I'm going to tell y'all exactly, this is the honest truth on why I am not quick to charge people rent. If you come and stay, if you've come to stay with me, I'm not quick to charge people rent. 2 reasons. I need you to save and be able to get back on your feet, but I need you to be able to do it quickly. So see, if me not charging you rent, because I got my rent locked, I'm good. I don't need your extra rent, but see, I need you to, come on, save and get to your goal. I need you to get there quickly, so that you can go ahead on and move on to the next phase in your life and move on to the next phase as far as where you're going to live. So that's why I don't think that charging rent, because listen, how I look at it, if you giving me rent and you paying half of my rent or my mortgage or whatever, if you're paying half of my expenses, then that means I'm prolonging you being here. And the goal in my mind, if you say I need 6 months, okay, 6 months. If you're not paying any rent in 6 months, oh, well, when you leave here, by God, you should be good. Now, some people have said, you know what? Well, how is that fair to you? How is that fair that they get to sit there and stay with you for free and stack up? Listen, because I'm not the one that need the help. What happened to just helping people? Sometimes, listen, just try a little tenderness and see, won't it all work out for you? Now, listen, I'm not saying, look, we're just so nice and we just out helping and, ain't nobody being charged. Listen, now there are some protocol to stay in, okay? Because I may not charge your rent, but listen, I'm going to be an enforcer on that deadline that we've set, that this thing here will end. Now, listen, I take that very seriously. So for me, when you going and when you get in your own spot, to me, that's more important to me than me trying to collect your rent. No. Now you say you're gonna be gone when? You say you need how long? Okay, so you said so you sure? Because the last thing I want to do is we getting there and we halfway to the finish line. They about to move, and then they come to the table. Cannot wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. See, that's the part that I want to prevent. So if you got all your money, you should be saving and stacking accordingly, because we don't want this coming back to the table. Well, I know I asked you for 6 months, but now I'm going to need a year. The devil has lied to you. Okay. The devil has deceived you as you walked here to ask me for another 6 months. Are you mad? Is something wrong up here? See, so there does have to be some guidelines and some boundaries, because again, listen, people will take advantage of you. Listen, people, they will. And some people will take your kindness for granted and all of this other bull junkie. But if you set some guidelines and be firm with what it is that you expect and be firm with the deadlines, then, it could be cool. But you may be one of them people that say, you know what? I don't do stand with me. I will borrow you some money. I will do anything, but you cannot stay here with me. You can do a whole lot of things, but staying here with me ain't going to be one of them. And I totally understand that, because again, it's so, everybody ain't right. You can't help everybody, no matter how much you may want to help. And that includes even your own children. Sometimes some of them folks, you cannot help them. But I'm like this, at least give folks a try. And I don't know, does this make me like a softie or something? But I just don't like seeing people need things and I know that I'm in position to help you. Then I don't like to not help. But what I will say is, I will drop you off. I will drop you like a bad habit before you bring me down with you. Now, that's where, because you can, listen, this ship will sail and leave you at the shore. That's what will happen. So don't think you're going to get on this ship and then you're going to start weighing the ship down. No, you will get tossed overboard. So set up your boundaries and know when this staying together thing is going to expire. Because listen, staying together can create enemies. And then this next situation, this next scenario, borrowing money. Oh my God. Yes, Lord. Borrowing money. Now, have you all ever noticed this? Because maybe it's just me. Maybe this is something I've only seen. But have you all ever noticed that, somebody borrows money from you, right? Why is it that you are the person that has borrowed the money, the borrower? Why does the borrower always have to be the bill collector? Why do you have to go chasing your money down when you've borrowed somebody some money? See, borrowing money, it definitely, whoever said this, that borrowing money makes enemies, they ain't never lied. Borrowing money definitely does create enemies. And you know why? Because people don't do right when they borrow money. A lot of times people do not do right. So this is what I'm going to suggest you all do. Because when you borrow money to people, here's what I want y'all to do. Smell your money before you borrow it to them. Jake, what you mean smell my money? Listen, smell the $20 bill, smell the 100, smell it. And I'm going to tell you why you're going to need to smell it. Because when they tell you they're going to pay you your $100 back, okay, in 2 weeks, right? They're going to pay that $100 back in 2 weeks. And 2 weeks go by. A month go by. 2 months go by. Now at 2 months, maybe you start calling them and you trying to figure out like, okay, what's going on? You told me you only needed 2 months and you was going to pay me my money back. So like, what's going on? So now they don't have your money in 2 months. Now, but they told you 2 weeks, right? So now they don't have your money. So now when you calling and you asking for your money, you like, okay, you said you was going to get my money 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, you said you only needed for 2 weeks, and I've been calling you. Here's where the smell of your money before you gave it to him come in. I'm gonna give you your funky little $50. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this the same? Now why the the $50 gotta be funky coming back in? Was my $50? I'm like, now wait a minute. I don't recall my $50 being funky when I loaned it to you. So now why all of a sudden is my $50 funky because I want it back? Or why is my $50 little? I'm going to give your little $50 back. I'm going to give it back to you. Why I got to do that? Why you got to be calling me and chasing me for my money? Hey, you're right. Why do I have to call you and chase you for money? Money that I was supposed to have had back 2 weeks ago, but now that 2 weeks have turned into 2 months and I haven't gotten my money back. But it's funky now and it's little. Be mindful for those type of people. Be mindful. And listen, if you are the one that is borrowing money from people, don't do that, because see, you burn bridges with people. And then when you burn bridges, now you expect people to have sympathy for you, but you ain't even did right. The little funky $50, they still ain't got their little funky $50 back, even though it wasn't funky or little when they gave it to you. It was big enough to get you out of the problem that you had at that moment. But now that they want it back, now it's a problem. Oh my God, you all hard. Now they try to go with that reverse psychology. Oh my God, it's like that. You that hard up. You that hard up for $50. Bama, once you hard up for it, you came to me for it. So now I got to be hard up because I want my money back. Be careful for those people. Should you lend money? What I've learned is, you know what? Don't lend more than you can comfortably lose. That would be my takeaway. Don't lend more than you can comfortably lose, because if somebody is calling you, listen, I don't care what the emergency is. If you're going to give it to them, give it to them. But that lending stuff, because it's like once it goes out, there's no guarantee that issue is coming back. So don't bite off more than you can comfortably chew. You're not calling me asking me, oh, well, can I borrow $5,000? Can I borrow $10,000? And you know good and doggone well they ain't got no how you want to borrow $10,000 from me and I'm gonna give it back to you. Please don't, please. This is one for the books. Don't fall for this one, because again, people mean well. I'm gonna say this. I believe that a lot of people, when they borrow money, they do mean well. They mean well, but that I'm gonna pay you back with my taxes, because y'all know we in tax season now. Oh, let everybody say amen. And it's always something unforeseen that pops up when they got to pay you back with their tax money. Oh, yes. Oh, it's something always coming up when they have to pay you back with that tax money. So just be very, very mindful. But if somebody is needing to borrow $5,000, $10,000, now listen, the average person, that is a lot of money. The average person cannot, listen, let's be honest, the average person cannot afford to even borrow somebody a solid $500 and not need it back. So again, if you cannot comfortably lose it, I wouldn't lend it. So you calling and you asking for $500, I'm not about to be the only one taking the L. I'm not about to be the only one looking for you. I would feel better at giving that person, they saying, you know what? They need $500. I'm gonna borrow you 100, and you got to find four other suckers to get the other $400 for. Because again, I'm not gonna be the only one sitting up here mad at you and chasing you. We're gonna have the whole block chasing and looking for you. You're gonna have all your family and friends. You're gonna have five of us chasing you and looking for you. And out of five of us, somebody gonna get their funky $100 back that they lent to you, because it's funky now because they want it back. So always be mindful of how much you're borrowing, how much you're lending. And again, if you are the person that is asking for help and you know you can't do it, don't be sitting up here. Listen, this is what the problem be. I'm going to tell y'all. The problem be you asking to borrow something and then you're giving unrealistic dates on when you're able to make that payment or pay people back. I'm gonna pay you back in 2 weeks, knowing good and doggone well that you're not gonna be able to pay these folks back in 2 weeks. Really, it's about a month, but you're gonna tell them 2 weeks because 2 weeks sounds better than a month. But it's better to be honest with people so that if you are able to pay it back in 2 weeks, then that is great. You have not burned a bridge. But if you telling people I'm gonna pay you back in 2 weeks and then you take 2 months to pay them back, you done burnt a bridge unnecessarily. You could have saved yourself the trouble of burning that bridge if you would have just told these folks, you know what? My goal is to get it back to you in 2 weeks. That's my goal. But realistically, it looks like it'll be a month. I know it's definitely not going to go past a month. If we start having honest conversations like that with people, I think that people would be more prone to helping you out if you're being honest and keeping it real. But if you sitting up there, you lying just to get it, now you done messed up. You done messed yourself up because you could have just told these folks the truth in the beginning. And then they would have been like, okay, cool. Because chances are, if the person can afford to give you $100 or borrow you $100, they in position to, 2 weeks to give you a month. But unless it's that person that say, okay, man, this is my rent money. My rent is due in 2 weeks, but I'm gonna loan you this money because you saying that you're gonna have my money back in 2 weeks and I need it for my rent. I need you to have my money back. Listen, do not do that. Jay, well, I just thought you said that you should, but your rent money, you don't have it. That's the landlord money. You don't have it. You don't have it to lose. I said, if you have it to spare, if you was gonna go out and get your hair done, okay, I'm saving up my money. I'm gonna go get my hair braided. You can afford to lose the hair braid money, okay? But because that's extra money, hair braiding you ain't gonna die if you ain't gonna be put out. Ain't no harm gonna come to you from not getting your hair done. But if you take that $100 out of your rent and now they don't come through, now you got problems. Never take something from something that's going to affect what you have to do, your livelihood, your kids' tuition, and all that other stuff. That's not the place to pull money from, to be borrowing somebody that's in a bad spot. Again, I would always try to see maybe there's another option. Maybe there's another, something that we can do to help this person out. But again, pulling from your rent, your mortgage, and your car note and all this ish to give somebody to borrow them something for 2 weeks, it ain't gonna work. And here's the thing, if you look at it, if you only need it for 2 weeks, what kind of problem do you have that you can't get a 2-week extension? What kind of bill do you have? Oh, they gonna repo my car. Well, wait a minute. That means that you are in the habit of not paying the car people. That's why the repossession team is on your end. So if you ain't paying them folks on a regular, I know what I'm about to loan you, I'm not getting that back. So be mindful, you all. Be very mindful when you're loaning ish and you're letting people come to live with you. Because again, in theory, it starts off well, but some people will put you in a bad spot and take advantage of that. And that's what ruins it for other people, to come in. Now, listen. Speaking of money, listen, now watch this. Should a man consult his wife before giving his mother some money? Oh, yes. Should a man consult his wife before giving his mother some money? He's married, mama called. Baby, I need a couple of, baby, mom trying to go down here. They going down here. They got that bus coming. And we going on down here to that casino down in Iowa. We're gonna take that bus trip to the Iowa for the casino. And baby, because it's hitting all of them. It's hitting Iowa, it's hitting Elgin, baby, it's hitting the one in Michigan. And I always hit and get lucky at the one out in Michigan. So can you give mama some money so she can, because I gotta have it today, because they said I got to get my seat on the bus. I gotta get my seat today. So honey, you gonna have to give it to me today. Mom, how much do it cost? Well, so I need the deposit for my room, and I got to get the room, and now I got to get the deluxe room, and now I'm gonna need some money to play. So I'm gonna need about $1,000. Like, Ma, how much do the doggone trip cost? Now the rooms and stuff it's only $299 for the weekend. But you just asked me for $1,000 because I done told you I'm gonna need some money to play on the slot machines, because I got to get them slot machines. I got it's some special ones, especially at that one out there in Michigan. It's some special ones that I got to play. So now you already know, you saying to yourself, you know what? She don't need to go to the casino. But see, you don't want no smoke, because y'all know, listen, I'll tell y'all something. These mothers, they come with some smoke. Now, some of them, I may be on here. Hey, Ma, I love you. Some of these mothers, they come with some smoke. I know Sister Vans come, baby. She come with a barrel of smoke. So listen, she got smoke for whoever. So sometimes it's just easier to just go head on, because now you got the husband. He's sitting up here saying, do I want smoke with my mother or do I want smoke with my wife? Either way it go, it's gonna be some smoke. But should a man consult his wife before giving his mother money? And I'm a mom and I got a son, so here's the honest answer. But I want you all to drop in the comments: should a man consult with his wife before giving his mother some money? Now, here's the thing. It depends on how much she asking for, and then what do y'all household look like? That's the thing. What do the household look like? Sparkle, you're saying it could be his side money, not our joint money. Hey, JP, Jeremy is saying $1,000 ain't no money. A couple should miss that. Jeremy, send me about $50 so I can get me some coffee. Since you saying $1,000 these couples ain't gonna miss no $1,000. Give me some coffee for the next couple of days. Now, here's the deal. It depends on what people's budget is, what they finances looking like, because every couple don't have it like that. Every household don't have it like that. $1,000 if y'all both working and everything is cool, and like somebody said, Sparkle said in the comments, if he's taking it out of his personal account, then there's no reason. You don't have to consult with anybody. If money is coming out of your personal account and you're doing whatever, then to me, that's a conversation that does not need to be had because you got your own personal account. But any money that needs to be moved out of joint accounts, in my opinion, I think that a conversation needs to be had from the wife or from the husband, whoever is. If we have a joint account and money has to be taken out of the joint account for any reason, I think that just out of respect, a conversation needs to be had. Because again, this is a joint account. So it's just not my money, or it's just not his money. It's our account. But that's why I think joint accounts work. You have to have more than one account, especially if that joint account is the do not touch account. You can't just go in the do not touch account and don't say nothing. It's a conversation have to be had. I don't care if it's 100. Look, a conversation has to be had. So should he consult with his wife? Absolutely. If it's coming out of a joint account. But like it was said earlier, if it's coming out of a personal account, then it shouldn't be had. That's your personal money. Now, me, I would probably say something if it's coming out because I know how I am. And I know the husband I'm going to have, I already know what he's going to tell me. See, don't go loaning money and giving money that I don't know nothing about, even if it's your personal account. And then you up here, now I got to hear you running your mouth and talking about the folks that ain't paid you back because you loaning money. So for me, I always just think that it's probably a good idea to just mention it, even if it is coming out of your personal account, because I'm going to be like, okay, well, I gave it out my personal account because I'm going to be wanting him to give me some money to make me back whole. Even though the other person didn't give me my money, I'm going to be asking my husband to make me whole. Like now I done loaned her $500 and she ain't gave my money back. So I'm going to be expecting him to make it right. Now, is it his responsibility to make it right? Absolutely not. But then it is, because I'm his responsibility. So if he don't want problems and just me whimpering and, doing whatever I have to do to get my way, then he's going to already know the wife that he has. And he's going to be like, look, I'll go ahead on and transfer to you because I'm not going to keep on. I'm not going to go there with you because I don't know how many times I'm told. And I'm going to catch him before he even starts. I already know you told me to stop lending. You are absolutely right. And I'm just be sitting up here looking at my account, waiting for him to Zelle it. And as long as he talking, and I'll be like, babe, you ain't got your phone yet. Because I got to take the lecture. As long as he lecturing, I got to take the lecture until I get the money. And then once I get the money in my account, I'll be like, you know what, babe, you are absolutely right. Now I'm going to go ahead on. Now I'm ready to go cook dinner or do something, because I'm not trying to sit up here and hear this long lecture, because and I know I'm going to be back over here with a similar problem because I done gave somebody something and they done stiffed me. Now I got to come to my husband so he can make it right and fix everything. But again, this husband is going to know the type of wife that he has. But again, should a conversation be had? Yes, the husband should definitely consult with the wife before giving money to his mother or giving money to anybody for that matter. Now look here. What do you all think about this? Fellas, if there was a birth control on the market, would you all take the birth control? Would you faithfully take the birth control pill? If there were a birth control pill for men, would you all take it, and would you take it faithfully? And I need you all to be honest. Would you take, if there was a birth control on the market for men, would you faithfully take that birth control pill? Now, fellas, I need y'all to be honest about this. And while I wait for a few of you all to drop the comments, I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to answer for you all. Heck no. You all will not take a birth control pill faithfully. You all will not. Listen, they halfway want to use this, they halfway want to wrap it up. So with that type of track record that you all have, because all you have to do is just slide the protection in your pocket, pop it on. Y'all ain't even doing that. So I know good and dog, they would not faithfully take the birth control pill. You know why? Because it has to be taken the same time every doggone day. They don't have time for that. They're gonna be forget. Oh, even if you set an alarm, they're not gonna remember to take it. You know why? Because it's not that important to them. You know why? Because they like, and fellas, I love y'all, but they like to say, well, she the one got pregnant. But listen, if it was a birth control pill out there, we could stop all of that. We could stop blaming women for, oh, well, she trapped me. She knew this, she knew that. If there were a birth control pill on the market, fellas, would you take that birth control pill? Would you take it faithfully? Mark, you're saying, well, it's a no for me. I wouldn't take it because I am here to give life. So are you expecting women to take birth control pills? Because, I mean, we're all here to give life, but it's like, okay, every time you do the horizontal mumbo, we're not trying to create life. So are you expecting a woman to only take the birth control pill? But fellas, again, the question is, if there was a birth control on the market for men, would you all take it? If yes, why? If no, why? Again, we have Marquis saying no, he wouldn't take it because he's here to create life. Again, as a woman, and this question is for the men, but I don't think that they would take it because, again, a lot of them don't even want to use the protection that's already out there for them. So I'm not looking forward to them, taking it seriously. And again, scheduling your life pretty much around taking this pill. All the dangers and all the potential complications that could come with taking birth control pills. I don't think men really sit down and really realize and really understand all the things that women have to go through to prevent pregnancy and all of this stuff. A lot of you all, people got caught up with this Plan B pill, this morning after pill. Do you all know how flipping dangerous that god dang on pill is for women? I'm like, okay, so you had you a good night and you done slipped up. Y'all, got a little reckless. Now she literally has to risk her life, potentially getting cervical cancer, all type of cancers, to take that flipping pill just to prevent pregnancy, just to prevent it. I don't think a lot of men really sit down and really understand all the things that women have to go through just to prevent pregnancy. And this is not a bash or this is not a dig on men. I just want to kind of educate you all because we have so much, back and forth against mothers and fathers and this and that. You all, it's a lot. I mean, when we're talking about terminating pregnancies, men talk about it like it's just, you just telling her to go change her panties because you don't like them. Wait a minute. You all need to take a step back and really understand what you're asking. Really sit down and think about what it is that you're putting on women to do. Getting rid of a pregnancy is not just as easy as changing your hair color. You're taking a life. So we have to start having these type of conversations. We're going to flip this. Oh, well, um she having all these kids. She knew this and she knew that. Protect her fertility, and she's supposed to, it's her responsibility. It's both responsibility. But don't you all think that it's easier for a man to slap on the protection because you can take it off and throw it away? But what you're asking her to do, she has to take all of this stuff that is literally killing her from the inside. I don't think y'all really understand that. Y'all not really getting that. So I want to say it again. When you asking women to take all of this stuff, take these birth control pills, taking these Plan B pills, I need you all, fellas, I really need you all to understand what it is that you are asking her to do, what it is that you're causing her to do. So it may not show up today. So she done popped all them Plan B pills, all them birth control pills in her 20s and her 30s. Now she's settled and she ready to have kids. Now she having a hard time getting pregnant. Why is that? Because she's taking all those foreign hormones and all those foreign chemicals, and now she can't conceive because she done blocked her chance. Every time she was taking the Plan B pills, and it was just tearing her up from the inside. Birth control pills just tearing her up from the inside. But you all don't see that. You know why? Because it was easy. Because guess what? The ramifications don't sit and they don't rest with you. It all falls on the woman. So the next time you decide to bash women and bash single mothers, and again, this is not a bash for men. This is not pushing responsibility off. Not doing that at all. This is just a plea to get you all to kind of understand, because maybe nobody ever told you. Maybe a woman has never sat down and told you exactly what it is that this stuff does. Because all you all are thinking, and rightfully so, because it doesn't affect you. It's going to stop her from getting pregnant. Yes, it's going to stop her from getting pregnant, but it could stop her permanently from getting pregnant. It could cause her to have cervical cancer. It could cause her to have breast cancer. It could cause her to have to get a hysterectomy. You know what I'm saying? It could cause all of these issues because we don't want to slide on some protection. We don't want to collectively come together and say, you know what? Okay, listen, let's figure out some methods. Let's figure out some things that we can do to work so that we can both prevent this pregnancy. Because again, all of it all rests on the woman. All the weight of relations, the weight of physically connecting, it lands, the whole responsibility lands on the woman, and the ramifications of doing so or not doing so, it rests on the woman as well. Again, all of the stuff that we have to ingest just to prevent pregnancy, just to prevent it. Fellas, if there was some stuff on the market, would you all be willing to do the same thing that you are asking and requiring women to do? Would you all be willing to do the same thing? For a man that's saying, you know what, listen, I don't do protection, but you want her to take, and he doesn't want any kids, but I don't do protection and I don't want any kids. So if you already know that you don't want any kids, why not you go and get snipped and tucked? See, that never comes up. And you know why it never comes up? Because you know you want kids. You just don't want it with that woman. But you want her to take all of the responsibility, and you want her to mess her insides up. Because you guys got to understand this, fellas. Each time a woman is taking these pills, it's messing her up. It's messing her up on the inside. It is totally messing her up. Again, we're talking about this because, again, maybe you all never, somebody has never sat down and explained it to you like that. Because if it doesn't affect you, it's like, it's easy to just, make it seem as though it's something trivial and keep it moving. When a man is suggesting that a woman terminates, well, he said he don't want no kids, so she got to get rid of it. You all do understand. Let's just make sure that is a life, that it is permanent. And it is some other words that I don't want to say because I don't want to get blocked. But terminating is permanent. Terminating is taking a life. It don't matter how they want to look. Because, listen, these clinics and stuff, and they got all these groups and they got all these little pamphlets and all this and that. Well, it's not really a person yet. Help me understand that how it's not a person yet, but in 9 months it will be a person. It don't if people want to, and I'm not gonna get all deep into it because again, whatever people got to do to get by, whatever. But I want to say this to plead to the men so that you can understand what it is that a lot of times you all, and I'm going to say unknowingly, are asking women to do, the severity of what you all are asking when you say terminated. So a lot of men would think that, oh, well, she didn't terminate it. She's just trying to trap me. She's just trying to. Do you know what it is to terminate? See, you can terminate. You can say that because that blood is not on your hands. So it's out of sight, out of mind. Listen, you got a lot of these dudes got all kinds of bodies on their head because of what they've influenced and wanted a woman to do. But at the end of the day, it's that woman's decision to go through with it. But some of these guys, listen, no doubt have made it so hard that she already made it like she don't have no choice because, like, man, if you don't, I'm not going to be there with you. I'm not doing nothing for the kid. Don't ask me for nothing. I'm not showing up. Listen, you know how some of y'all have been, or some of y'all friends, or some of y'all guys that y'all know how they be out here talking to these women, talking all reckless to them because they done got pregnant. Yeah, well, if you don't get rid of it, then don't call me for nothing. Don't ask me for nothing because you already know I didn't want to have no kids. But you say get rid of it like it's easy as changing your shirt. Like it's as easy as changing your hair color or deciding, what do I want to eat? Do I want coffee or do I want soda? You all make it seem as though it's that easy, but it's not. So I want to compel to you, brothers, to really start thinking about the ramifications, especially if you all claim to love these women. Think about what it is that you asking her to do. And let's just come together as grown folks. Let's talk grown folk-ish before we get down to it. Let's talk about, okay, listen, what does this look like? What is our method of birth control gonna be? What are we doing to prevent this? Come up, listen, just like you need a plan. Listen, you got to start coming up with a plan. Stop being afraid to talk about things that are going to impact your life before it impacts your life. See, we talk about these conversations later. Now you sitting there, now you pregnant, and now everybody, because as soon as a chick get pregnant by a dude that didn't want no kids, oh honey, woo, baby, you ain't seen hate. until you done seen a man get a chick get pregnant by a dude that don't want her no more. Woo, child, you ain't seen hate until you see that whole interaction right there. Baby, if he could listen, if he could end it for the both of them, he would. But ask yourself, why do you allow yourself to get to that point when, if you know that's how you feel, why are we collectively not sitting down again and let's map this ish out? How would this be handled? Listen, we finna get up in here, baby. We finna swing off all these chandeliers. I'm about to do all kinds of nasty stuff to you. But what does this look like if we get, because I'm not going to say if I get pregnant, because we in this issue understand what's going on. So what does that look like if we get pregnant? What does that look like? Oh, well, I don't want no kids. Got it. Neither do I. So what are we going to do to prevent that from happening? Well, you could take I could do what, sir? I could do what? How about we? If I'm going to sacrifice some stuff, you're going to be sacrificing some ish as well. You're going to be, I'm not going to be, oh, well, yeah, you could just go ahead on and take this and, yeah. No, the way my hormones are set up, I'm not messing with that ish. What else you got? Well, you could do, not doing that. What else? Well, I guess you won't be playing over here in these pastures, because why don't you go and get your situation taken care of? Oh, baby, let you say something like that. Baby, if they could cuss, they done called you all kinds of bees in their head. I'm just going to let you know that now. You suggest to a man to get vasectomy. Oh, baby, you all kinds of cuss words in his head. In his head, you all kinds of cuss words. Because again, they want to put the responsibility all lies on you. The prevention all lies on you. When that's not necessarily true. Because again, you could use protection. And if he's one that says, you know what, I don't like protection, or if she is one that says, you know what, listen, I'm allergic to it, whatever the cause may be, you know what the final verdict for you all getting together is? It's a no-go. It should be a no-go for you all. But how many people gonna back away from that and say, you know what? Well, you know what? We can't come together and figure out, like, there's no method that's going to work for us both to prevent pregnancy. So this is not a good fit for us. How many grown folks are willing to have that type of conversation up front? See, we talking about this up front. Before you get to the table, now you don't get hung up in there. Now she pregnant. Now both knew that didn't nobody want kids and all this and that. Now it's just a big mess. Now everybody mad. Like I say, oh, he hate her now. Oh, he can't stand her because she got pregnant. Weren't you there? What I don't understand about the whole she got pregnant is, well, her eggs were minding their own business. You the one let your little soldiers out. Your soldiers left your soldiers left you. So did she really get pregnant, or you got her pregnant? Because her eggs was sitting there chilling. Her eggs was just egging until your little soldiers came and knocked on the door. Now she pregnant. But before your soldiers came, she was cool. She was cool. Again, we not pointing the blame. We're just having a grown folks conversation on how we gonna stop all of this. She got pregnant. How we gonna stop putting preventing pregnancies all on women? How we gonna stop acting like only women can do things to prevent pregnancies? What we gonna stop doing is not having these conversations beforehand. These conversations need to be had just like we want to have, well, what you want to have to eat? Where you going? When you planning all this, they somewhere up in between that, before y'all get the baby, before you get to doing all that ish, some real conversations need to be had. I'm just saying, these real conversations need to be had, because again, when you ask a dude, are you willing to take birth control pills to prevent pregnancy? As y'all can see, the answer is no. They're not willing to do it. Again, so what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Especially if you both know that you don't want it, it's time to start having some grown conversations, and it's time to have those grown conversations up front before any exchanges of all this touching and all this, before all that, the good stuff starts going on. Maybe these conversations need to be had, up front. Now, speaking of up front, listen, when you dating and you getting to know somebody and y'all is new and it's all good and stuff, you all excited and all this other issue, just excited about the relationship, and you noticing you all are talking, but you ain't never heard each other's voice. You know why? Because y'all doing all that god doggone texting. All that texting. So, can a meaningful, healthy, solid relationship be built via text messages? Only text messaging. 95% of the relationship, 95% of the communication is text messaging. Can a solid, healthy relationship be built just upon text messaging? 95% of the communication is text message. Good morning, good night. You making plans to go here, go there. Text messages. Listen, you all text each other so much. If you call, you don't even know his voice. You don't even know what his voice sounds like because you got doggone texting so much. So are you all into text messaging, or are you ones to say, you know what? I need 50-50. As I'm going, I'm half text messages, I'm half, communication. Can a healthy, solid relationship be built from texting, from solidly, consistently texting? For me, and I think it depends on what generation, but then I'm going to scratch that, because you need communication. Text message leaves so much room for a person to interpretate your message the way that they received it. Meaning that they could be asking you, do you want to go to breakfast? And you be like, nah. And then they take that no as a no. What you asking me for? What you asking me, do I want to go to breakfast for? That's how they could have took the no, when it was just, no, let's do lunch instead. But with a text message, it's left to be interpreted however that person may be feeling, or from, past experiences influence how we receive text messages. It's a lot. So these text messages can be really, really tricky. But is it nice to get a text message? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's nice to get text messages, but don't totally build a relationship on text messages and you skip out on the whole hearing their voice and that whole human connection type thing. Like when you building a relationship strictly on text messages, I think that you miss a lot. You miss out on a lot of the emotional, heartfelt bonding. You're missing out on the vibration of his voice. You're missing out on the vibration of her voice that touches your heart, that touches your mind, that makes you feel all warm and gooey on the inside because it's a form of communicating. But that's why I think that a lot of times, especially today, it's easy for people to cut people off because you never took the time to build a relationship. It's easy for people to send you a text message and break up with you, opposed to having to talk to you and hear your voice over the phone. So, text messaging makes it easy to do a lot of things that you are not really bold enough to do, in person, and say a lot of things that you're not bold enough to say, like on social media, when you're responding to text messages, or when people post it. Listen, you got some full-fledged thugs on here that will text and type anything. But baby, when they in person, they won't squat a fly. But on these social media sites, baby, they got more mouth than a little bit. They got more toughness than anything. But you see them in real life, and you be like, woo, child, because you be really talking real slick and real crazy. But in real life, they won't say nothing. So, can you build a solid, meaningful relationship via text message? For me, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't consider myself in a relationship if texting is our primary source of communication. I wouldn't trust that we're in a relationship, because especially if you text me and I'm like, Dick, I want to hear his voice. So you text me and then I call you. Immediately, I call you and you don't answer the phone. Oh my. Now, what does that say? You literally just text me. I just so happen to have my phone in my hand and I call you. You don't answer. Now, some people will say that, you know what? I didn't answer. That's why I text you, because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk, or whatever it is. So if you cannot talk, if I literally just text you and now you're that busy that you couldn't pick up the phone and say, babe, I'm in a meeting. I can't talk right now. I'll call you back. Or babe, I'm not available right now. I'll call you back. Literally 30 seconds top, that between you hit send and me picking up the phone. For me, I think that that's a little bit suspicious. And I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. But again, for me, those are things that will keep me from getting close to a person, because to me, you're not serious. When you ready to be in some grown-ish, then we going to act like we grown. But if we want to keep sending each other high school messages and high school love, I'm cool with that. But just don't think that you got me locked up over here. Just don't think that I'm thinking we're in a serious relationship, because it's not going to happen. If you want a serious relationship, that's for men and women. You're going to have to show up as your grown woman self. You're going to have to show up as your grown man self. But you cannot be doing childish things and expecting grown folk results from it. And again, text messaging is fine in its place. It's fine for a quick check-in throughout the day. That is not a problem. But to rely on text messaging only to build a solid relationship, no, no, we gonna have to do something else, Clyde. We gonna have to do something else, Clyde, because that right there, that ain't gonna work. It's not gonna happen because again, you don't truly know a person's intentions behind those text messages. You don't know what they're like. You don't know what they're asking for. You don't know any of that because again, you are texting them. It's text messaging. You're not taking them in a serious, meaningful conversation or connection. It's all text message. And again, a lot of things through text messages. So we just definitely have to, again, know who you are. Some people, again, I think the younger people would be okay with that. But it's like at the same time, when you are talking about building something meaningful, it don't matter if you the young people or the 30 plus age range people. If you are not communicating verbally, then I'm not sure how that's gonna work. Now, speaking of how that's gonna work, you all, what are y'all thoughts on this? Sipping. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant says that a man loves his child on the same level that he loved the mother. I'll say that again. She says that a man loves his kids or his child on the same level that he loved that mother. So if he didn't really too much care for that mother, then she's saying that he's not too much going to care for the child that that particular mother had. What are you all thoughts on that? Is that a true statement, fellas? And be honest. She's saying that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is saying that men love their children on the same level that they love their mom, or the same feeling that they have for the mom. That's the same feeling that they're going to have towards that child. So a good example would be for a dude that said, you know what? He didn't want any kids with this woman, or he didn't want that child. So he really too much don't care for the woman. So Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is saying, well, if he don't really too much care for that woman, that feeling is going to in turn transfer to his child, and he's going to treat the child that he has with that woman in the same way. Do you all think that that's true? Fellas, is that true? Ladies, have you had some experience with this? And now that you're hearing it, you're like, you know what? That does make a lot of sense, though. It really does. Again, for me, I think that it makes a lot of sense. However, I'm not a man, so that's one question that I can certainly say that I can't answer that. But I would say it could be some truth to it. But then and again, it could just be, pure rhetoric, because I've seen examples of both sides of that statement. So I've seen examples of the side where a dude didn't want kids with the woman, but he's an amazing father. Like, he loves his kid or kids hands down. And then there are some relationships that I've seen that I'm like, well, yeah, this do sound kind of true, because I do know some dudes that got some kids with some chicks that they can't stand, and baby, they are not there for them kids. They don't have no relationship with them kids. They treat the kids just like they treat the mama, like a stepchild. So they don't even treat these kids like they're their biological children. So again, I personally have seen both sides of that particular statement be true. But fellas, if y'all can, drop it in the comments. Is that a true statement? Again, Dr. Cheyenne Bryan is saying, you know what? Men treat their children on the same level that they treat the mom, or they love the children the same way that they loved that mother. So if they didn't really care for that mother, then they won't really care for the child or kids that she has. Now, my thing is, okay, I can see you done had one child with this lady and you don't really too much care for her. So you like, yep, nope, that's it. But then you go back for 2 and 3. You had 5 kids with her. I never cared about her no way. I never cared. Well, sir, why did you stay around and have all these kids with this woman? I don't understand that. If you never cared nothing for her in the first place, why would you have 5 kids with her in the second place? Because again, it could be said, well, Jay, why not ask the mother? Well, why did you have 5 kids by this man? Because she could have loved him. He the one told her he didn't care for her. But you stuck around and slid all them kids up in there. I say this. Be very careful. Be very mindful of just who you having kids with. Listen, be very careful. Be very mindful because again, listen, we're bringing these kids into the world and you're not even bringing them into happy, loving families and loving environments. So we have to stop creating these toxic kids. We have to stop having these kids in these toxic situations, these toxic scenarios. And we have to go back to normalizing and making marriage the number one priority and then having kids. Now, for those that don't believe in marriage, then that's your business. But we have to stop having all these single mother households. We have to stop having all these kids scattered all over the place. Because listen, what y'all not understanding, what a lot of people are not really sitting down and thinking, we having all these kids out of wedlock. These kids are going to grow up and they're not going to know their siblings. And God forbid if they start dating their siblings because they don't know. This dude, he got a slew of kids. Oh, like everywhere he go, he dropping off some kids. But he hollering, he don't date baby mamas. But you constantly creating all these baby mamas. But you don't date them. Oh, you don't deal with them. Oh, you sitting high and looking low. But you got a slew of baby mamas out here. I ain't never seen nothing like it. But we are living in a day and time where, you know what, we're going to have to pump the brakes on that type of behavior. We're going to have to pump the brakes on all of this normalized, and we've normalized having kids out of wedlock. So we're not even talking about building families anymore. So can we go back to those days? Can we go back to the days of, you know what, listen, we're going to build some solid families. We're going to have the mother there. We're going to have the father there. And we're going to do what we need to do to make this family run, to make this family be together, to have a solid type situation, to have a solid type family. We're going to do that because we're building families. We done with the toxic stuff. We done with the baby mamas. We done with the baby daddies. We done with all of that. We only want healthy households, healthy kids, healthy families. That's all we're doing. We're not doing any of the toxic ish. We're just building happy families from here on out. And that's what we need to start promoting. Now, look, speaking of happy, speaking of healthy, speaking of families, guys, tonight we're talking about, listen, she's paying 50-50. So why should she submit? Oh, yes. If she's paying 50-50, why is she submitting? Now, before y'all get started, look, submitting, it's a lot. It's a lot, but let me just tell you what is submitting. So first, submitting, according to an online source, submitting is to accept or yield to a higher or superior force or authority or will of another person. Basically, you're listening and you're following that person's leadership. So, should women, we're talking about submitting. So, when we're talking about marriage, and you're first, before the marriage, in just a relationship, you guys have not gotten married, you have not tied the knot. So, should women be submitting to men? Should women, if you're not, should an unmarried woman be submitting to an unmarried man? They are just dating, they are just seeing each other. Should submission even be a conversation? Should we even be talking about submitting if they're not married? He's not married, she's not married, but they're in a relationship. Should the word submission even be a part of the equation? That's the first question. And then who should submit? Are women only expected to submit, or are men supposed to submit, or are both people supposed to submit? And here's the deal. When you're talking about submitting in a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage, let's just hit the relationship first. Should an unmarried man or unmarried woman be submitting? If you're not married, like everything is free will. So it's like you're not tied to any vows. You haven't promised to do anything for each other. So it's not mandatory, but I would say this. Why would I be in a relationship with somebody that I don't want to follow? If you can't lead me, if I can't listen to your leadership, if I can't follow your leadership, why would I be in a relationship with you? Why waste your time being in a relationship with someone that you know that you can't follow, that you have no desire to follow, that you have no desire to submit to what it is that they're saying? Why would you want to be in a relationship like that? So that's what I would ask in that situation. If you're not married, why would I want to be in a situation where I can't listen to him? Because again, for me, the way you are acting, you're setting it up you're setting the tone for the marriage if it leads that way. But here's the thing, when you say setting the tone, so we should have already talked about if we desire marriage, because if neither one of us believes in marriage, then listen, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about, you guys? So then you would tailor rules and things and expectations for your particular relationship. Because again, all this stuff regarding love and marriage and relationships, this is not a one size fit all. It is not. What's good for me may not be good for the next one. So it's definitely not a one size fit all. However, there are some rules and there are some protocol. Now, whether you decide to apply those to your relationship or to your marriage, that's entirely up to you. But there are guidelines that are out there that are set. Now, again, whether you choose to accept those or follow those, that's entirely up to you. But we can't act like that there's not a blueprint, so there's a blueprint that has already been laid. And again, you have the option to follow it, or you have the option to create and do your own ish. Entirely up to you. But again, I just feel like if you're in a relationship and you're seeing this person, you guys, y'all into it, y'all locked in, why would you not submit to each other? Why would you not take into account of how each other feels? Why would you not do that? Like, why would you do something totally separate? Like, if I can't listen to this man, or if I can't follow his leadership, then for me, why do I need to be there? Why do I need to be in that situation? And when you talk about submitting, and you have to add into this before submitting and you're in a relationship versus being submitting in a marriage. So for those that say, you know what, because you have a lot of women that say, you know what, I don't do wifely duties. If I'm not married, I'm not doing wifely duties. I don't do wifely duties and I'm not married. I'm not. And for those with, listen, sis, hold on. Let me take a sip real quick because y'all gonna get mad at me. For those women that say, I don't do wifely duties because I'm not married, let me shut this. I'm gonna shut it. I'm gonna shut it down, but I'm gonna shut it down in love because y'all know we love each other. I'm gonna shut it down. If you are sleeping with that man, please stop uttering I don't do wifely duties. And you sleeping with this man. Stop. It does not make any sense. You have given him the number one wifely duty, which is your body. Your body. So you mean to tell me you can give him your body, but you can't get up and cook this man a meal? You can't cook. Stop saying that. Please stop saying we're not doing wifely duties, but you slobbing on Bob. Ma'am, you've already done the biggest wifely duty. So what are you complaining about cooking? Cooking something for him, cleaning something, doing something. What are you complaining about? You've already given him the number one wifely benefit. Oh, don't Ben I had some kids for him. But you complaining about cooking him a pot of spaghettis. But you done gave him 5 babies. You done pushed 5 babies out your womb. But cooking him a pot of spaghettis is where you draw the line. Honey, I'm going to have his children. But I draw the line at washing his clothes. I'm not going to be washing no man's clothes that ain't my husband. Please stop saying that. Please stop saying that. I'm not gonna be up in there cooking no man nothing. He ain't my husband, but didn't he just have you upside down hanging off the chandelier the day before? He wasn't your husband doing that, but you draw the line for cooking him some food. You draw the line with giving her some money, but you had your face all up in her butt. But you draw the line because I don't give women that's not my wife no money. But you had your face all in her lower region. But you draw the line. You see how that don't make any sense? So can we stop? It's still early, you all. It's still early in 2026. And if we hurry, we can cut this bull junkie out right now. We can cut this nonsense out. We can cut it out talking about what you not doing, wifely duties and husband duties. If you are getting down like that in a sexual, physical manner, those words should not be coming out your mouth. I don't do wifely duties. I don't do husband duties. If you are already getting down like that, we gonna rebuke that foolishness right now. If you done sucked, slob, hung off the shelf, ow, 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 who's it? All it. If you done already did all that, you've already did wifely duties. You've already did husband duties. So everything else should be mere technicalities. Okay, it should be. Listen, it should be no harm for you to get up. He's like, listen, can you cook me something to eat? You should have no problem with cooking him nothing to eat because he ate all of your lower regions the day before. He done ate your lower region. So now he can't eat some real food that you can fix for him to put on his plate. Don't make no sense at all. No matter how I try to look at it and see if it'll make sense, that foolishness has not made sense to me yet. For those that say they don't do wifely duties or husband duties, but you done all this. Listen, you was just real. You did it. You did the nasty to him, baby. You was real nasty. Y'all was doing up. Listen, you started hearing Too Short. These are the tales. I tell so well. All them freaky things. All them, cause we some freaking. Y'all know that nasty low down stuff y'all be listening to. Y'all be doing. Don't ask me how I know it. We just gonna keep talking, okay? We're gonna keep talking and just pay attention to what the conversation is and don't veer off into my business. But I know y'all be doing all that nasty stuff. And then now you want to have some decorum. Now you don't do. I don't do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. If he not my husband, I don't do wifely duties for a man that is not my husband. I don't do wifely duties for a man that's not my husband. I don't do husband duties for a woman that's not my wife. I don't do any of that. But you done busted wide open. Y'all out there just doing all kinds of nasty stuff. No type of protection, no type of nothing. But you don't do wifely duties. We're going to dismiss you off from the conversation because that should not be had. So with that being said, should you be submitting in a relationship and you're not married? You should be submitting to each other. Again, depending on what your beliefs are regarding marriage. And again, these are things that should be talked about up front. You can't wait till you get married and then, or y'all start living together. If y'all just decide, okay, we don't need no papers. We don't need no labels, because it's a lot of new-ish out here. So that's why I always say you got to talk to each other before you fall into the okie doke barrel and you thinking that y'all get married and 5 years later, this brother hits you with the, I don't believe in marriage. What type of foolishness did you just speak out of that contraption you call a mouth? What kind of foolishness? So that's why these things should be had up front. But when you talk about submitting in the sense of paying bills, now listen, come on, we're going to talk about this and we're going to move real close. Submitting 50-50. She pays 50-50, but you want her to submit. Should she still submit? Well, why not? Because she's paying, but we're going to break this down. Submitting is still following his leadership. So submitting and paying 50-50, those two, they're not the same. They're not the same thing. You could submit and still pay 50-50 because at the end, if you believe that the husband is the head and he's the hierarchy, then, it still goes that way. It's the husband and then the wife. If you believe in that. Now, I'm not trying to look. You consult with whoever you pray to. I'm telling you who I pray to. I'm consulting with what the word Jesus say do. So that's what I believe. But if you believe what somebody else say, listen, rock out. But according to the Bible that I read, and the Jesus that I serve, he said the husband is here and then the wife is here. And this is the way we do it. So that's what I believe. So, but that doesn't negate from the fact of, okay, listen, we're going to talk about this 50-50. And 50-50 meaning 50 for the bills, 50-50 for the household responsibility. Now, this is where a big chunk of the issue comes in at. And a big chunk of where we not seeing things on one accord. We not seeing it because some men are expecting the wife or his woman, his girl, whatever you call them, his partner, to pay 50-50, to go to work, do everything is 50-50. right? But when you come home, you want her to do 100% of the household responsibilities. And that, my friends, is where we have the problem. That is where the disconnect is coming in at. So it's not that because you paying 50-50, I can't submit to you. You still running it. You still gonna govern which way this ship is going. You the captain and I'm still the co-captain because I'm still providing my 50% of this assistance to your 50% so that we can give 100% and we can make this thing 100%. So I'm contributing my 50% of that 100%, but the 50% that I'm giving is 100% of my effort. It's 100% of what I'm supposed to be doing. But the situation comes in and the discord and the separation comes in at is again some men believe that she can work a full 8 hours, 10 hours, just like he is. They both get home at the same time. He gets to sit down and turn on the TV and get relaxed and wait for dinner while she got to go cook the dinner. She got to help the kids with the homework and all this and that. But she's contributing 50-50 on the outside. That's not going to work. See now. No, it's not going to work. Somebody, fella, you got to help me see how is that fair? She done had a long day just like you did. So why is it every day when you get off of work, you get to sit down, your day is done when you get home, but job number 2 starts for the woman when she gets home. She got to tend to you, she got to tend to the house, and she got to tend to the kids. Not so. If we're doing 50-50, everything needs to be done 50-50 down the line. So yes, it's going to be some days that she's cooking. It's going to be some days that you are responsible for taking care of dinner and taking care of breakfast and taking care of all of that. Because again, how do you have those type of demands on somebody that's going out and doing the same thing? Now, if you have a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home woman and keeping up the household is her job, then you are right to come home and expect a meal because that is her job, because she's not outside contributing to anything else. So yes, every day you come home, your house should be clean because she should have did it. Your dinner should be cooked because she should have did it. All this the kids' homework, all that ish should be done because that's her sole responsibility, because that's her job, because she's not going outside of the house. She doesn't have anything outside of the house, any outside household responsibilities. But oh my Lord, but if she is working 40-50 hours just like you are, that conversation on how we splitting this ish up needs to be had. But again, we're not having these conversations up front. People are waiting till they get right in dead smack into the situation just to find out you married to a male chauvinist. See, you didn't know that because you all were not having the hard conversations on what this looks like when we build it. We only worried about the superficial things. But when we take the time out to start talking about this ish before you get into it, then you'll start seeing things differently. Have the conversation on, okay, so like, listen, if we were to get married, are we talking about getting married and we're talking about moving in together and moving forward? What does that look like? Are we having kids? Do you want me to be a stay-at-home mom? Are we doing 50-50? And ladies, look, some of you all are talking ridiculous with this. Oh, I don't do 50-50. Have you seen the prices of stuff today? Like, let's be serious. Let's be real. If you want a man that is working a legit job in today's society, even being low income and living in the hood, they are asking people to have 3 times the amount for rent. So it's like in today's society, the cost of living alone puts most people in a 50-50 type situation. It doesn't make him any less than. It makes what these people, the lawmakers and the powers that be, it make them be on some bull junkie because they up in everything. The cost of living is rising, but a lot of people's incomes are not rising. So we have to stop looking at 50-50 as though it's a slap in the face. Now, if you get you a dude that is well off, that he doesn't need you to contribute anything, but he just needs you to keep his home, then that's a different conversation. And you talking to a brother that is in a different financial stratosphere. But if you talking to the brother that's going out every day, that's working, he a manager at a restaurant, he driving truck, whatever it is that he does, he getting to it. And then you over there getting to it. But then you all come together and then you expect to still be getting to it, but you want to keep all of your money. Wait, so you mean to tell me, so you was single and you were paying your own expenses. Now you done got with this man and you all are together and loving on each other. He's like, listen, let's move in together. Let's do this and that. And you instantly think, okay, well, we moving in together. I'm moving to his place. So I ain't got to pay no bills. I ain't got to pay no rent. So can I ask you, ladies, what are you doing for, where's your money going? Only paying the bills. What is your money going? Not married. Now, if you're married, some women may say, I'm taking care of our retirement. I'm saving for our retirement. That's cool. Got it. If that's what y'all agreed on, no problem over here. But if you're single and you've moved in with this man and now you were paying 100% of your rent, now you're over there living rent-free, utility-free, where is your money going? What are you contributing to? So that's why I say 50-50, I wouldn't have a problem because I'm still up more than what I was when I was paying 100% by myself. So I'm still saving. Unless you give it, again, this is why you have to have these conversations up front. Unless you move in with a dude and his rent or his mortgage is more than what your situation was. Now, again, that's something that you should talk about beforehand so that y'all can figure out what that looks like. But in today's society, I just don't think that is realistic for people to think that, you know what, I can sit up here and one person, one average, not the top 1% people. You're not even dealing with a dude in the top 1%, 5%, or even 3%. You just with the average family, the average Black family, the average relationship. People in those average situations, a lot of them are not in position for it just to be one income coming in. I mean, have you seen how much coffee costs? Coffee cream, a good cup of coffee from your local chain and a sandwich is almost $20. You go out for fast food in the morning and you go for breakfast and y'all trying to just pick up something. You ordering the coffee and a sandwich and a drink and, a little snack. That's $50 for two of y'all. He's supposed to do that every day by himself. What you doing? When you lock in with somebody and you really locking in, we got to get out of this individual type of mindset, because if you lock it in, then aren't you supposed to be a team? Aren't we supposed to be doing this together? Or am I just sitting back and I'm just waiting for my opportunity to just have it easy? You waiting for him to take care of all your bills and all your expenses? Or for the fellas, you sitting up there, okay, you like, man, you know what? We got kids together, but I'm working. I work harder than she works. So that's on her. She a woman. She's supposed to take care of all of this. No, you all have to sit down, preferably beforehand, and discuss and strategize what is our family life gonna look like. What does it look like for us being together? What does this marriage look like? What is all that? What does our finances? Who's gonna take care of the kids? These are conversations that should be had up front. What do we do? Do we have enough saved if you lose your job? If I lose my job, what are we doing? A lot of stuff puts us in a catastrophic situation because we're not planning for it or we're not talking about it. So let's stop all of the, oh, well, if he wants 50-50, I don't do 50-50. Well, keep doing 100%. That's you. Listen, it's your world, sweetheart. Keep doing 100%. Or she got to take care of 50% and she got to do all the household. That's a woman's job to cook and clean and all this and that. If you that brother, then you probably need to hire you a maid, because it's unrealistic for you to expect a woman that's working 10 to 12 hours just like you are to come home every day and cook dinner for you and clean up and do all this other stuff. It's unrealistic to just put that on, and it's unfair to put all of that on one person. So what I'm saying is, listen, sit down, have a conversation on what this 50-50 looks like, on what that submitting looks like. Because again, ladies, if you don't feel like you could submit to this man, you got to ask yourself, why am I with him? Fellas, you got to ask yourself, am I worth submitting to? And am I going to submit to her? Am I going to submit to the things that she needs? Because submitting is about yielding to what each other need. That's all it is. It ain't you my boss. He's the pilot. You the co-pilot. Your voice is next to his, but he makes the final decision. And if you can't accept that or respect that, then that's something you got to determine. But again, it looks different in each relationship, because the things that I just explained, everybody don't believe it like that. And that's why you should be having these conversations up front. But when you're talking about, oh, she paid 50-50, why should she submit? Why get with a dude that you have no intention on submitting to? Why get with somebody that you have no intention on listening to? Why get with somebody that you have no intention on dealing and building with? Why get into a relationship if you don't have any intention on considering another person's feelings? Why get into a relationship? Why get married if you want to keep doing single people stuff? If you want to keep being single and leading and doing 100% and doing what you want to do, and you don't have to submit to anybody, then single is what they call that. That they call that staying single, because over here in these single streets, you can come do as you please. You don't have anybody to submit to, but you also don't have anybody to consider you or anybody to cover you. So you choose which one is best for you. You choose which one rocks and works for you and proceed accordingly. But should you submit? Absolutely. We should be submitting to love and we should be submitting to each other. Once we lock in, we should totally be submitting to each other. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, please don't forget, go to our YouTube channel, like and follow us there, the Jaye Spot, Jaye. Listen, drop in the comments. What do you want us to talk about this season? What do y'all want to get into? Drop it in the comments. I hope that you guys have an amazing night. Take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, you all, peace out. Good night, you guys. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, family. Good